Alright, so I didn't want to do a intro today, so I had ChatGPT do it for me. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Almost 100%, the podcast that's 1 part musical genius, 2 parts comedy gold, and a whole lot of delightful chaos. I'm your host, Chuckle McJester. Can we the self-proclaimed master of mismatched melodies and the clown prince of the airwaves. Today, we have a guest who is equal parts maestro and mischief maker. He's a musician extraordinaire, a virtuoso of hilarity, and a man who can make an entire symphony laugh with just a single note. Please put your hands together. Please put your hands together, your headphones on, and brace yourselves for the uproarious genius of Perna Jr. It's a little long, Chatty. Now, when I first heard about Rob, I thought, surely this man's middle name must be Joker or Rhapsody, because he plays his instruments like a musical prankster in a symphonic symphony. This guy could make a harmonica sound like a herd of wild elephants, a kazoo mimic the high notes of an opera singer, and a tuba. Well, let's just say he once played a tuba solo that caused seismic activity in 3 neighboring counties. Perna Jr. is a true virtuoso, but don't be fooled by his impeccable musical skills and his dashing looks. It's hard to read sometimes. Behind that elegant facade lies a mischievous mind that could rival Mozart's with a whoopee cushion in hand. You know, there's a rumor that Rob once turned an entire orchestra into a kazoo band during a live performance of Beethoven's 5th Symphony. The audience didn't know whether to laugh or faint. So, folks, this is super long, yo. Come on, Chatty. So, folks, get ready for a roller coaster ride of melodies and mirth as we dive into the mind of this musical maestro. We'll talk about his life as a performer, his journey through the wacky world of music, and the secret techniques he uses to tickle our funny bones while strumming his guitar strings. Buckle up, my friends, because we're about to embark on a harmonious adventure with Perna Jr., where the only rule is to expect the unexpected and prepare to laugh until your ears ring in horror with delight. Pick one. Let's dive in and see if we can uncover the mysteries of this symphonic jester. Right here on Almost 100% with me, Troy Seipel. What were we just talking about? Fucking Scrooge McDuck.
Scrooge McDuck swimming in pools of gold coins.
His facilities.
Yeah. I don't know if it was was it a vault or just like his foyer?
It was like one of those like off the highway things where they store salt.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
For wintertime
to
melt the roads.
Yes.
It was like that.
Nice. You don't even need any security, really. I mean, it's hard to get away with like a measurable amount of gold anytime quick.
Yeah.
Even if you can carry an armload of that, I don't know if you'd even notice it went missing.
Yeah, you need duffel bags. It's a whole operation.
I love how the gold coins react like water.
Yeah.
They just be like,
they move
aside
splash. When you swim, and then you spit some out.
Yeah.
That's totally sanitary.
Yeah. I wonder if it's his duck-like features that make it react like water.
Like how water...
we'd probably jump in and just smash into the first layer. It's not quite like a ball pit.
Yeah.
But maybe the grease of the duck feathers helps him
just
glide.
Right
Never
through.
thought of that.
Easy glide.
He was made for that stuff. Or I can say shit, right? We don't...
Oh, fuck yeah.
All right. All right, cool. All right. Nice.
Man, so where do we start? We've known each other for a long time.
It has been.
We did my old podcast like a decade ago, and so we're here to catch up on what's happened since.
It's been a while.
Talk about you. So let's see where should we start? I met you kind of just through I don't even really know, but I would always see you in Downingtown, Victory and then music shit. I would just run into you all the time. Yeah,
and we had all them jam sessions going and whatnot, and I think we were talking about incorporating some comedy into some of the stuff.
Yeah,
and I've always been to me, comedy is definitely one of the high arts.
Yeah,
I just really appreciate how comedy can just transcend daily grind.
Absolutely.
Work is like that.
Yeah.
You know, people get into a rapport and if it's right, and that's
if
happening,
works,
and there's a good amount of comedy that makes the day fly by.
Yeah. It's an escape, it gets you out of your head like good music.
it's wild when like you meet people that seem not to have a sense of humor, like them curmudgeon-y type people, and you're like, wow,
how do you get through the day?
Your life just was really.
Yeah.
No wonder you're sad, but like it's not that hard. Just laugh.
Man, smile, release some dopamine.
Yeah. There's like what's the science behind? They say like that, like it takes more muscles to frown than to smile.
I think that's just some Hallmark bullshit.
It might not be real.
I don't know.
I choose to believe it.
I don't know. I've frowned a lot, but I've smiled too. So.
Yes.
Oh shit.
So you got quite a vibe in here. I like it. The lighting is good. We got Miss Pac-Man with Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Sue. In the house.
Can't forget Sue.
Yes, the decor is amazing. It's definitely set in the right vibe.
There's a stormtrooper helmet.
Well, yeah, like I think like I like as a Star Wars fan lately, they've been really hitting the mark with all the like Mandalorian.
Dude, I'm into it.
It's like they finally put it in the reins of like what I feel like is our people.
Yeah. Like I liked Rogue One, but the one thing, like the whole thing growing up with Star Wars, like came out a few years. The first one came out a few years before I was born, but so I grew up with it and that Superman movies. But like, Rogue One, like is missing the Force, which was like half the reason I love Star Wars. You know what I mean?
The mystical aspect was missing to some degree.
Yeah.
A large degree. But it was visually, I think, a step in the right direction. It kind of opened the door for like that slightly more realistic. I don't know, but like I just love like the creation of a whole entire extra planet of types of aliens,
a galaxy.
And like when they go into a bar and it's the music and it's like I go to places on Earth that have that same exact vibe. I love it. I love when I walk into a place and it feels like the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Right.
It's like a bonus.
I'm at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
I try to create that vibe anywhere I can.
Yeah. So, you know, I know you as a musician, originally from the New Kings of Rhythm, and you guys are still together, you're playing shows and stuff.
Yeah, that's been cool. So, like, the New Kings of Rhythm, like, in the interim of since like we last spoke, which it would be funny. I would like to like. I wonder if you still have that podcast. I would like to listen back to that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Because that's interesting to me. Like I wonder where my head was at then.
Yeah, right.
Compared to now.
Yeah,
it's cool to have those measures. So this is awesome that you do something like this.
Yeah,
so
man,
I think that's
fun.
great.
And it's a good excuse to like hang out with a dude.
Of course.
Like I've always enjoyed. You know, talking to you and chilling.
Appreciate it.
And,
so then, since then, like you know, I went away for a minute. I was in prison, and that was a whole interesting side road. I've definitely gained a little more appreciation for my freedom after the fact, and like learned a lot about myself in there.
Yeah.
We were talking about the comedy aspect of that. That wouldn't have worked without comedy.
Right.
Like there was one guy on our crew that
there's always one goofy fuck.
He was like an older guy, and like he was one of the most natural comedians I ever met in my life. Just like had us all just rolling, and not just us. Some of the hardest dudes in there that like you would like look at their face and like we were just talking about that look like nothing's funny, and he somehow would make these dudes laugh, and like it would often be like, dude, you're gonna get punched, but they never did. He never did.
He got away with it.
He was
That's
like,
amazing.
oh man, I was trying to think of one of the jokes he told that just I think the very first day. He came around. He was playing guitar, and I was at that point in time. I had an acoustic guitar, and I was leading like massive jam sessions out during Yard. It would be like started off as like 3 of us, 4 of us, and then by the end of the time I was there was like 15 people out there with acoustic guitars.
That's amazing.
It was wild.
So how do you get because when I was in county, you can't.
Yes,
you can't
that's one of the perks.
One of the benefits.
One of the perks of going upstate. Like, so, dude, when you're in county, as I'm sure you noticed, like people talk about going upstate like it's like heaven. They're like, this county bit is trash. This fucking sucks.
You can do what?
And I'm like, wait, what? Like, like it's better than this? Like, I'm like, you're crazy. And then you get there and you're like, wow, it is kind of better. I don't know. The food's a little better usually, and like, I don't know.
You can have stuff
you
in
can
your
buy
cell?
a guitar. So you actually would be
off your books.
Yeah, you could go to the library and request a purchase order and get a catalog to either Sam Ash or I think it was Musician's Friend, actually.
Oh, really?
And you could spend up to $500 on an instrument.
That's amazing.
So,
why up to?
My friend, I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to prevent there. Like they're like,
you just gotta get a shitty guitar.
they don't want you to. I'm like, oh, this is beneath me.
Listen, they're like, listen there, Clapton. You're not getting out tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
it's interesting.
This piece of shit.
It was interesting because like I previously to that would not have opted to be playing acoustic guitar ever.
Yeah.
I had one. But like I always like didn't really love acoustic guitar.
Yeah. I wasn't. It's so funny. My mom, I wasn't allowed to have an electric guitar
so you
until
started
like
on
6th
acoustic?
grade. Yeah.
Okay.
But what I did was I took some aluminum foil and wrapped it around the bottom like of the strings near the bridge.
Yeah.
So it had a distorted effect because the aluminum foil would vibrate against this because all I wanted was to play like distortion.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. That's
so
cool that you can do that. I mean, I've heard you can alter the sound and those. That sounds like a Bo Diddley story.
You need like a slide.
Troy Diddley.
Troy Diddley.
Love it. Yeah, that's good. Diddley. That's a good visual too. Just altering it just to get one.
Got the Reynolds right.
Oh yeah, Mom.
I'll show you.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a harmonica with my comb next. The wax paper.
A soap bar.
Yeah. That's great.
So you're playing in the
we were like, so I'd have anybody that came around that like had a guitar or wanted to play guitar would generally end up coming over, and this guy Jim came over, older guy Jim Mahalis, very cool, and he was like had already played a little bit. But like when he sat down and like started hearing like, because I was writing stuff like at a pace where like every morning at Yard I would like have a new song and show it to whoever wanted to learn it, and then by the next day everybody would kind of know it.
That's amazing.
It was like having a little guitar orchestra. But we all were like, I had written a real serious song about like I lost my mom while I was locked up. She passed away. And like I had a really like kind of like serious deep song about that, and like somebody was reacting very hard to that. Like it was the emotions were like people were like feeling what I was singing about. Yeah. And like he was like, it went into a discussion about people's loved ones that are no longer with us, and he's like, this is like first day meeting, and he's like, you know what my old man would be saying if he was alive today. Yeah. And we were like, no, Jim, what's that? He's like, he'd be saying, let me out of this fucking coffin. Da, 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 da. He goes into this like fit, like he's scratching the inside of a coffin. We're just like, bro, like all of us started cracking up. It was like a deep, deep moment, and then it was just like instantly like hilarious.
Broke the tension.
Yeah, and then like from then on, it was just like he was part of the crew.
That's awesome.
He also he had facilitated a large amount of apples.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was right around Christmas time, like the last year I was upstate. Yeah. And like had this other dude that provided the muscle basically to like commandeer a shower stall to use to make apple wine. And we all imbibed and got drunk on like Christmas or New Year's or something. Yeah, it wasn't in a toilet. It was. I can't believe it. These dudes must have had some kind of clout because the guards definitely just knew it was there and didn't fuck with it.
Well, I mean, they go wild. Like,
so man. That was like, I was up there and I'm like, I wonder if I'll ever get the opportunity to drink some prison wine. Because you're in there, like, I kind of want to.
Is it real?
And is it real? That was real. And the guards must have even known. Like, we were on an honor block, and like most of us had outside clearance on that block. Okay. Like, I was in the weld shop. I learned how to weld there. Nice. And so I got to leave the compound every day and manipulate metal, which was awesome. I had never done anything like that. Yeah. And now I do it sometimes. And
that's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That was interesting. And the guitar was there the whole time, and I was writing at a clip where like I ended up leaving there with like 400 plus songs written.
That's amazing.
So I'm peeling through them now.
You still got it. Yeah, you still got a catalog.
Yep.
Damn. So like, how did you remember all that in jail?
I wrote down a majority. Everything I wrote in county, I sent home at one point before I left there, because you can't take stuff from there, or you can't take a large amount of stuff from there to state. So I sent a bunch of stuff home. Some of it ended up lost forever.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of my music.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember the concepts, and I remember some of the songs that I don't remember, because I'm like, I never saw that one again, but I know it existed.
So you can piece it back together?
Could, but like, it's also like, man, some of that, it was such a process that like a lot of this stuff probably won't ever be recorded or performed.
But it's ideas
but they're there.
And
like,
just the exercise
some of them
writing.
have popped into the set list with either New Kings of Rhythm, which we were starting to talk about. I forgot, but yeah, we're still playing, and that's the thing. There was time. That's why I went into
circles.
that. Because that's why like I went away. So obviously the band wasn't doing anything for a while.
It's all in there. Yeah.
And then like now we are, and also I have Onyx and Honey, which that band now has actually been more of a safe haven for creating original music, because not that like that was ever frowned upon in New Kings. Like, we have originals in the New Kings of Rhythm, but there's a certain vibe that like goes with that doesn't necessarily fit the scope of some of the stuff I wrote or that I'm writing now, or collaborating with Nikki DiGiorgio, who's not here, but that's my partner, my girlfriend. Someday we'll make it permanent. That's our tagline. We're going to make it permanent.
There will be t-shirts.
Yeah, there will definitely be t-shirts.
That's funny.
But like, so our collaborations have become like an outlet for me to explore more what I started doing locked up, like being more outgoing with style, as far as like not always being, it's not all funk and reggae and blues, like which is my wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's great, and
but
you're good
like,
at it.
I get to explore more of the hip hop stuff, and also like I have some like country type stuff, and like she's like a old
and a female
school
vocalist.
Yeah, she's got like a punk vibe, so it's like some of it's harder than I would normally play.
Yeah,
but it's fun for me to do that. I had just never been like put in a position to like play like that.
Yeah.
But while I was locked up, there was, I mean, some of that was in my head from growing up anyway, and like I played stuff like that. I prepared myself on an acoustic guitar, which I still play regularly.
Yeah.
From there, like, I mean, now for me, there's no difference between playing electric or acoustic.
Yeah.
I feel equally comfortable with both.
And you can create with both.
Yeah. So I kind of needed that. It was like kind of my music school.
That's therapy, you know.
I don't know when I'll ever have that kind of time to sit and do that, because life is happening all the time, you know, like, and that's a little bit selfish, like, you know, like I already had a life going, you know, so I had to like, you know, step away from the family. You know, it wasn't great to have to do that, you know what I mean? But you know, like hopefully my son sees that, like, you know, it helped me grow into a better person in general, and I would think that anybody would want that for the people they love, even if it's difficult.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
But that's the wrap up of like what went on with me during that period of time.
So you're doing shows with both groups?
Yes.
Now,
New Kings of Rhythm, we play about once a month with the full New Kings lineup, or whatever that approximation is, because like,
is Coffee still in it?
Mike Coffee now lives in D.C.
Okay.
So he's only been up here one time, I think, since I've been back from prison. So he did play with us when I first got out. Yeah. But it's been a minute. Like, I haven't seen Mike since the pandemic stuff hit off.
Yeah, I used to work with him.
Yeah, I remember that. And that might also be part of the reason why we started rapping.
Maybe, that's probably.
I think that was the link to start talking.
Yeah, I probably came to see you guys or something because he would tell me.
Yeah, Mike is such a good dude. Him and
he's
Ash
awesome.
are like, they're living together. They're chilling. He always has an open invite. Like, so I think, for instance, when we do Look Around, the Look Around Festival in August 26th, which is a Saturday, and it's our second year.
This sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'll fill you in on all that, because it's like we did it once last year, and all of it's been grassroots. Nikki DeGiorgio has been the force behind it. It was her idea. She saw the need, and mainly from feeling how, like, hearing me and some of the other guys, like, because other members of New Kings of Rhythm are also in Onyx and Honey with Nikki. So she hears us talk about, like, how, like, the scene used to be, and it's not just the pandemic that kind of killed that. There was, like, a period of time also while I was gone where it seems like except for Sprout was kicking.
Oh yeah,
but it seems like a lot of other things were falling out. Yeah, you know, and there was only that for a little bit. There were less
shows to play. Yeah,
like there was a period where you could go in Westchester and, like, 5 nights out of the week you could see several bands in one night, just walking distance.
Yeah.
And it's not quite like that. It's getting better, but anyway, so she saw the need, and also being an original artist, like, wanting a better outlet for that, because you know there's a scene that there's a lot of tribute bands right now. Yeah. Especially like the Grateful Dead bands. There's so many of them. It's
getting
like,
paid to do Saturday nights.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's like there's a whole market for all that. So when you're playing original music, even festivals now are a lot of, like, tribute or cover bands.
That's crazy.
And I love that. I mean, so then, for instance, New Kings might do 90% covers in a night, but it is also just off the dome, improvised,
and it's not usually the arrangement of the source material.
Right. But, like, with Onyx and Honey, that's what I'm saying, the difference is there. We're presenting more of a original pocket.
Yeah, I like it.
And it's working very well for us, which is cool. There's something formulaic about the melding of the minds with Nikki and I with writing, and also involving the other members of the band in that process.
Yeah.
But
so it started out as you two.
Yes, we started playing together during the pandemic, and even though we both had a history of writing music, and she probably had written more songs, like, in her time period. I only had songs because I was forced. Like, I would never put that much time into it. Yeah. I only had like 50 songs written before that, for instance.
Right.
But she has so much material and was, like, working in that regard as, like, a solo artist for so long. Yeah. And then, like, when we started playing together, she started playing electric as well, and now she'd be slaying the Telecaster.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, so, like, now we're at the point where, like, her and I are, like, we did a whole stretch last weekend of duo shows, and 2 of them we're just sometimes playing as an electric duo. Yeah. And
that's awesome.
We're both ripping guitar at a nice clip, not like offensive volume, but a volume that's comfortable for us. Yeah. And it's like people are noticing the guitar work, which is, I'm used to that, but she's not used to that. Yeah. You know, and, like, I know that, like, a lot of people that come see me, like, they kind of, like, they know that the guitar work is going to be, like, something legit, like, cool. Like, I think about things in a way that I think
you definitely do.
I don't know, I love music so much that I hope that when I play, like, I'm exploring in a way for other people's ears, like maybe a translation. Yeah. Like, you love this. Yeah. And you can play, so you also can do this. You can take the song and fit it into your own personal wavelength. Yeah, definitely. Like, and when people realize they can do that with songs, then we just get a better playing field. Yeah, I feel like it's better. Yeah. So that's my main focus. But what I'm saying about it is, like, that melding of styles and the outpouring of originals made it evident that we wanted that to happen for other people. Yeah. So we wanted to create an event where, like, original music is really the focus. So even the New King set there is going to be more originals than we would normally play. Right. We might do 1 or 2 cool covers, you know, but, like, it's going to be a nice day.
That's awesome. When is it? It's August.
August 26th. Yeah. It's a Saturday. The lineup off the top of the dome, I mean, there's enough. We're doing this format, so I could, like, pull it up. It's pretty stacked.
And what's the venue?
It's at the Moose Lodge in Westchester, PA, 401 West Marshall Street. Wait, West Washington. 401 West Washington Street, Westchester, PA. But yeah, the lineup is pretty dope. That's awesome. I'm gonna just run it down since we're on here. We got T-Head, They're dope. Sticky Hand String Band, dope. Two Non-Bobs, dope. Flying Komorowski Brothers, dope. Norwood, dope. Amanda and Teddy, dope. New Kings of Rhythm, dope. Wax Future, dope. Onyx and Honey, dope. Mojo Rising, Spinning, The World Without Us, Awesome Metal,
Wow.
Fragments of Greatness, they're dope. Nikki B. Hanna's dope. The Manipulators, dope. Ska Band, all that's going on. So, I mean, it's going to be insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You said how many years have you?
This is the second one.
Second one. I didn't know. You said last year you had 1,000.
Yeah, we had around 1,000 people
That's
last
amazing,
year.
man.
So, I mean, it was dope.
That's awesome.
Dope all around.
Yeah, man. That sounds fun. I'm coming.
Yeah, and that was conceptualized again by Nikki because she saw the need for original music.
Yeah,
to
there
have a
isn't
little more of an
that
outlet.
for like a not a huge act.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and you know what? It's like I also enjoy going out sometimes and hearing people play cool other people's music.
Sure,
you know what I
it's
mean? I
still
don't even
fun,
have anything
yeah.
against that.
No, it's just a different thing.
It also helped, to kind of weed out and like process and figure out who we wanted to be there. You know,
Yeah.
there was people who submitted that were great bands, but it's like they submitted with 3 cover songs, and it's like
Right,
we
yeah.
definitely
We're gonna-
need to hear
Right. This is the
some
point of
original
the
flex.
thing. yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we got that. So it's
That's awesome. So how many bands? I stopped
It's like,
counting.
I think it comes out to like 14 time
It's
slots.
amazing. And it's over.
Noon till 3 a.m.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty dope.
And you got to follow yourself.
What's that?
You got to follow yourself.
Yeah, I know. That's wild. I gotta follow.
You ever done
So
that?
yeah, at least there's a gap. I think it's New Kings,
get a
then
break.
then Wax Future, who are like they're an amalgamation of like electronic music and live music.
Oh, nice.
And they're like on the edge.
That's my
They're like
shit,
one
man.
of the bands that's really killing that.
Nice.
And they have some local ties.
Yeah.
So they were perfect for that headlining. They're playing the Sunset set.
Okay, yeah.
Then Onyx and Honey's
Golden
playing
Hour.
the Dark set, and then it goes inside.
Nice.
And the inside gets wild too.
Yeah.
We
That's
have 2
awesome.
separate sound systems running. I don't know the name of it, but there's talk about like a legendary sound system for the actual PA this year.
Nice. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Man. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
I think you would have a great time.
yeah. And then you have a radio show too.
Yes, Soundstage Radio, 95.3 FM, and also 1520 on your AM dial every Thursday at 5 p.m. That's also with Nikki as Onyx and Honey doing interviews with other artists around town and elsewhere. Today's artist was from New York, so
Yeah. That's awesome.
wherever they want to come from, we'll take them.
Yeah.
It's been a cool experience.
That's awesome, man.
I was just thinking, you and I both, like this particular show right now, like the bass levels are pretty
Off the
insane.
chain.
Like,
Off
yo,
the
we
charts,
gotta-
yeah.
anybody who digs
We're
the
gonna have to
deep
cut,
voices,
yeah.
we're gonna have to target them with this. I wonder if you can algorithmically place it for people that like deep voices.
Yeah. Like an ASMR.
Yeah. I guess that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
You could
Oh,
just
for sure. I used to listen to him to fall asleep. I don't care about the visuals.
people with deep voices.
No. Just like
Other sounds.
ASMR. No,
What's your
I don't like
favorite?
the sounds. I like soft
Talking?
Yeah.
Oh,
like
cool.
a female voice. It's
Right,
not
yeah.
like a sexual thing.
No,
it's just
not at
like
all.
a soothing thing.
Oh, I get it.
But there's definitely a weird deep well down that rabbit hole.
Oh, no, I'm sure.
But I don't know. There's some that would just like read a book.
Oh, yeah,
So
cool.
it's just like falling asleep.
In a like nice soothing voice,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
specifically for the purpose of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I like
Yep.
that.
But then there's some weird shit. Yeah.
I like to explore just like sounds and how the body reacts to them. There's definitely like certain wavelengths to get certain.
Yeah, like certainly, nails on a chalkboard give you tingles up some people's spine.
Yeah,
It's
And
interesting.
some people are not bothered whatsoever.
Yeah. But
I
what's
wonder
like
if that
the,
translates to like what kind of music they can tolerate.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people, I don't know. I listen to everything, including like the loudest metal, and then just people that just don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Like there's just Cookie Monster vocals. You know what I mean?
I can get down with just about anything.
Yeah,
I like the
vibe-
event we just
vibing.
had was like mostly drum and bass, and
Yeah.
I didn't think I was really like I would really like a whole night of drum and bass music, but all the DJs did a great job. It was
Yeah.
like really inspiring, honestly. I was doing artwork
time.
during it. It was cool.
That's
Yeah.
You gotta mix it up.
You've been playing stuff. You've been musical lately.
Not as much as I I should be. Definitely not playing out, but just basically doing some stuff for the show.
Oh, but, yeah, you mentioned that. That's pretty cool.
That's Thelma and Louise.
Thelma and Louise.
Yeah.
Beautiful combo.
Yeah, man. It's like a cerulean blue finish.
Yeah, those sound gear basses.
Yeah, that thing is nice. I wish the 7th string.
Oh, that's a 7th string.
Yeah.
Ah.
It's beautiful, but I wish it had the gold hardware.
Yeah.
I'm like, just finish making it perfect.
Right?
You know what I mean?
That is a nice combo
They play really nice.
The people need to see pictures of those.
I suppose
they haven't.
So
it's like you're diving for pearls with the inlays and stuff.
But I've been lazy lately. Like, in the winter I got COVID for Christmas.
Oh.
And then I was like one thing after another, and so I got lazy with a lot of things.
Well,
so I don't know. There's no reason I shouldn't be playing more.
Oh well, it's never gonna go away.
No,
you got Thelma and Louise. You're waiting anytime you want.
Drive off that cliff, bitch.
There you go. They're right at the foot of the bed, appropriately.
Thelma and Louise.
I haven't read this Rick Rubin book yet, but I heard it was good stuff.
It's really good, man.
Yeah,
he's an amazing guy.
Yeah, Nikki has been posting quotes from him lately, and I was like glad to see that because we're in the process.
That, or just
I think in general.
Yeah.
They probably generate. It's probably from his Instagram or something. I guess maybe.
Yeah.
But like a lot of what he talks about is definitely like some of what he talks about like mindset and attitude is more important for the outcome of a project than any of the technical stuff at the end of the day.
He's just got a mind for it, you know.
People want to act like I've seen people argue that his contributions are so marginal that like he shouldn't even get credit for some stuff. And I'm like, bro, he set the tone.
No,
a vibe setter is a real thing.
He's like a shaman for a band.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't create everything, but he unlocks the ability to create it.
It's so
and
important.
He like flips things on its head for some.
That's awesome.
You need a fresh set of eyes sometimes,
and
when
it might
you're
not work for
creating,
everybody because maybe some of the people weren't open to it.
Yeah,
you know
I mean,
like
when you're writing a song, you're like, "Is this good?" Like,
you lose all sense of. You definitely need trusted ears that aren't in the actual thing
and trying to be productive too.
After your ears
he never
go to mush
oversteps,
after mixing for hours and like then you don't even know what's cool anymore. You're
it all sounds the same and your ears are aching.
Yeah,
but he's amazing, man.
Sounding board is an important thing.
Yeah,
and the ones that sow the seeds for creativity.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Bass lines.
Bass. What do you think about them?
Yeah, dig them. I dig them. Usually, I dig them. I was saying.
We were just talking about
bass. I've been appreciating playing bass. My friend Will Snooze, who I met hosting jams at the Moose, we do that every Wednesday night there, and we've been doing that since pandemic too.
Yeah,
and he's one of the people that I met that like some of his first forays into playing were at the jam, and now he's gigging.
That's awesome.
And he asked me to join him on bass for those. So it's me and Joe from New Kings back him up when he does gigs.
Nice.
We're doing one of those tomorrow. If this airs tomorrow, we're playing 6 to 9 at Saloon in Westchester out front on the streets.
Oh yeah. So
that's always fun.
They closed down Gay Street?
Yeah.
Nice.
They're on that.
That's a COVID thing that it was the right thing.
Yes, and there's so many people in Westchester that hate it.
Yeah, for the listeners, so like Westchester has a main street down like there's like Restaurant Row and all the bars and anything worth going to Westchester.
Right. Pretty much. Yeah. There's a couple outliers, but Gay Street is your concentration of happenings.
You go in Gay Street and you come out high.
Yeah, you go in gay and come out high.
Yes, sir.
Or you go in high and come out gay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it could work either way.
The choice is yours.
Both are more fun together than they are alone.
You could get with this, so you could get with that.
Right?
So...
I mean, if you walk there, you can just go in the same way you came out.
You just be yourself, dog.
Yeah.
Why you gotta change?
Yeah, dude. Skateboarders they go gay high and they go Darlington sometimes.
This is where Bam was.
Yeah, sometimes they're in the alley here. Yo, Nicky
remember Rex's?
Yeah.
He was always at Rex. Bam Margera was always at Rex's, and I would run into him. And I don't like I don't like to like bug if I see.
Yeah.
So like, but I've definitely like said some stupid shit to him, like drunk. Just
Like, well, he calls for it.
Yeah, no, he
invites the stupidness.
Yeah.
It's funny, like we're recording our album at Castle Bam right now.
Oh,
with
really?
Honest and Honey, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so like Jess is super cool. I've known Jess and I reconnected with him while I was working at Creep.
I love
so
CKY.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
I was in a band in high school and we recorded our record at where they did their first one.
Oh, cool.
But no, I've always they're amazing.
Great, and he's always been like at the top of his DIY, like killing it, and like good vibes. Like I connected with him. It's funny how many things that are current in my life stem from the work I did at Creep when I got out of prison.
Yeah,
but it's like talking to Jess there, getting familiar with him again, and like reminiscing about all the old Westchester haunts. But then like now we're going there and recording with Chris Way and the bull Jamie. I don't know Jamie's last name, but
that's awesome.
So anyway, we've been recording there, and we're like partway through the sessions, and we had a session booked for a Saturday, and we got a call that like, hey, if you don't mind, we're going to postpone that session because Bam's going to be in town. And
so like, is it's still his crib, but it's
I don't understand all the inner workings. It's really none of my business.
Like,
but like as I understand it, Jess lives there.
Okay,
and so they asked us to postpone the session because Bam was in town, and then like
coming home,
things went south, and he was uncool.
He's had a rough ride.
And he's not doing well right now. And people that would like him to be doing better, are being misunderstood as not being on his team, and it's unfortunate. But that all went down, and it was kind of funny because it was like when they were looking for him, I think like Nikki like busted out Bamber Alert. Bamber Alert.
I like it.
So we were like, maybe we should call the album Bamber Alert. Not really, but
Bamber Alert.
That was funny. No, but like they've been great with us there. Super accommodating. I would suggest for anybody that's in the area that wants to record an album, that is a really nice vibe there for that. It's a wide open space. The drums sound beautiful. The room is amazing. There's a vibe. It's like the first time for me recording in a setting where I'm not in a basement somewhere, or like I mean even like big studios like Studio 4, there's no windows, you know what I mean? Like I recorded an album there, and like it just gets a burnout. There it felt more like when you read about like Led Zeppelin being in a countryside recording an album.
It makes a difference in the process.
Yeah,
it definitely does.
So
vibe, man.
That's been fun.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yep.
Castle Bam. Is that what they call the studio?
Yeah, just Castle Bam Studios. Yeah. And like before we were in there, I think they were mentioning like Mike Hampton from Funkadelic was in there recording, and also Billy Cox was in there recording an album on bass.
Wow,
pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm sure they get.
And I think they do all their Sovereign Eagle and stuff there, because like I'm not sure what the status is as far as recording CKY right now, but they have like little side projects and whatnot.
Yeah. So I know the singer, what's Darren Miller?
Yeah.
He left, right? So it's just a three-piece.
Yeah,
now.
I'm not 100% sure of the inner workings.
I haven't followed it closely, but no, they're I love them. They're amazing. Their riffs,
good music.
Riffs are always, they're own, very distinct.
Yeah, it's love. Like I love that Westchester, like reaching out beyond Westchester.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like when I see that music from here permeates, beyond, and like different styles, and like there's so much here.
Yeah, there really is. It's rich,
pretty cool.
Man. Yeah, but. So, how old were you when you like picked up a guitar?
The beginning of that happened for me. It was interesting. Like I first wanted to play guitar, and I think I was in third grade.
Oh wow!
So I don't know what you are when you're in third grade, age-wise, but like
me neither.
Yeah, like I began playing, and I was taking lessons in Westchester at Taylor's Music. My parents bought me an electric guitar. It was a PV of some sort.
Yeah.
And I started taking lessons, and at the time, like my main interest was like kind of like skate punk type vibes, and also like I was also really into like Chili Peppers and also Talking Heads and Jimi Hendrix and things like that, and Steely Dan, whatever. Yeah. So my guitar teacher thought it was a great idea to like make me learn like the solo to like "Sweet Child of Mine," and I'm like
that's a very
that's like
a
a very cool
specific.
guitar.
Yeah.
Riff.
How old are you?
I don't know. I was young, man. Like I don't know what that is.
Under
3rd grade,
10,
like
right.
9 or 10 or something.
something
really
around
that.
that. Yeah.
Like 8, 9, 10,
Right,
something like
so I
that.
was-
Whatever. But like
Yeah, like 8.
and like
This is hard.
he would just sit there and like shred,
Yeah.
and like it was
I do
off-putting,
that.
and it was like I'm like I don't even like that. I
He's
don't
just
even like the
flexing
way
on
that
you?
sounds. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I don't know where the like. So I used to put my guitar so far out of tune before the lessons that like it would take a half hour almost to like get me in tune, and then now like this is something that later years as a teacher I realized like if a student was doing that,
Yeah.
and any student I've ever had who's not into it,
Right.
that happens.
Yeah.
You can't connect with everybody.
Yeah,
You
they're
can
gonna
try,
fuck
but
off.
sometimes
Yeah.
they just need to say, "Hey, I don't get what you're doing.
Yeah.
Let's do this," and
Yeah.
you change it up. He made no attempt, and it's like he had to have known.
Stuck by his
There's
gun.
no way a guitar gets that far out of tune, and
Yeah.
I can't play shit when I come in the door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I was
Yeah.
shredding every day and didn't tune it for a week, it might
Yeah.
get somewhere near that. But
Those are
like
your
I was like,
protests.
"Oh great, it's time for guitar lessons."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wild. So, and also like I had a little bit of an anxiety for no reason really beyond I don't know. I didn't want to disappoint anybody, but like
Yeah.
I didn't at first emote to my parents that like I wasn't feeling it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I did that too, with certain activities that they
right,
would
you
put
know,
me
like,
in.
I don't want to. Like I just said, they spent all this money.
Right.
They bought
And
me a
it's
guitar.
Probably good for me. Yeah.
And so I'm like, eventually I said I wasn't feeling it, and they both were like, "Rob, you should have told us. Like, it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't work out. Whatever. It's there if you want it. Blah blah blah. Thank you. Cool." So I moved on, and then, get into middle school, and I had obviously, like any other kid, like been exposed to like playing sports and whatnot, and to some degree, and that world was open
What was
to
your
me.
sport? Or
The sport that I ended up like actually
best.
joining a team for and doing anything with was wrestling.
really?
So in 7th grade, I was a wrestler. I was 110 pounds. I was a skinny
Yeah.
rail,
Yeah.
bro. And like my girlfriend at the time was also on the wrestling team, and I think she was in the same weight class as me.
Yeah.
Like, like I didn't have to, or wait, she might actually, I think she was 10 pounds heavier than me. So like I didn't ever have to wrestle her.
Yeah.
But it was like a whole
You
weird,
just got
nobody
out
ever
of
wanted
it.
to wrestle her. It
Yeah.
was funny.
That's
She
hilarious.
probably whooped their butts, but
That's so funny.
yeah. So anyway, like I was doing that, and while I was doing that, I had a group of friends that all decided, they were like, "Oh, we should start a band."
Yeah.
And they were all kind of like, "What would we do? What would you do? What would I do?" And I was like, "I have a guitar. Like, I could always do that."
Yeah. I always
So-
love that, like how you figured that out. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
dude.
When I was in like my 6th grade band, it was just me and my buddies. Like,
Yeah.
my dad was a drummer, and hence I was a drummer.
Oh, cool.
So the drum kit was in my basement, and my friend brought his guitar, and I wanted to play guitar, so we
Yeah.
switched. And
Oh,
I'm sure
yeah.
he didn't want to play the drums, but I played the guitar.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
but like,
when you realize that it's something that you can do and that you want to do. It's a lifelong journey if you let it be.
Right.
It's cool.
yeah, it's fun, man.
So I went home and I went in the closet and I pulled out my guitar, and at the time it was awesome. Like, I wish I had pictures. I probably do somewhere.
Yeah.
At that point it was covered in stickers and like Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Yeah,
Primus,
yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
all the classics. Like I wish I still had it like that.
Yeah.
It would be a throwback.
Yeah.
But I pulled it out of the closet and I sat down. And so by then, this is like 1990.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is right on the edge of all that grunge
Yeah.
that was coming out, and guitar started to become more in the front,
Yep.
and a little more bluesy and vibey instead of the metal stuff,
Yeah,
which
the
I
hair
didn't
metal
like.
shit.
Now I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
But it's like when I was little, to me that
Couldn't
stuff was
stand it.
super corporatized.
Yeah.
It all was so
cheesy.
technical
The hair
that it
the hair
sounded
stuff,
like
yeah.
not natural. I know now what it is, and it's a whole nother skill.
Yeah.
that's amazing. But like then I was like, that's not what I'm about. I want to play. If I'm playing anything heavy, it's like Dead Kennedys, you know, like or like Suicidal Tendencies. Nice, I was digging that.
All I wanted was a Pepsi.
Yeah, all I wanted was like to play something cooler than this. But anyway, then like when I went home from school that day of discussing, hey, we should be a band, and I think we even like already knew what our band was going to be called.
Yeah, I think we came up with the name first.
It's interesting, and then it's
all
like
planned out, except the music.
Pulled it out of the closet, and I like quickly like checked to see what I remembered of how to tune it, and then played just notes and like remembered a lot.
Came back,
and I know, like, in my brain, like, it's one of the most sure, solid memories of my entire lifetime. And I'm 44 now, and so this is, like, I guess 12 or so, 12 or 13. Right. And it was, like, a moment of just, like, wow, okay, I'm a guitar player.
Yeah, I guess that's what I do now. Yeah.
And that was by myself.
Yeah.
It was not even, I don't even know if I plugged it into an amp yet. I had a little one, but I don't even think I had plugged it in yet. And I remember picking it up, and probably within 15 minutes at that age, knowing that I was going to do that forever. Now, I didn't know what that entailed, and I didn't even know I didn't know how far I could take that or anything about that. You know, like I just knew that then, because I was fortunate enough to have such great support from my dad and my mom, Bob Perna, my father, he like would take me very often to see live music, and was also just as open with like what me and my sister were into listening to. Even if it wasn't something he was into, he would make sure we still had access to that. And then when I very quickly like wound up playing through a sit-in random situation, sat in with Johnny Clyde Copeland. And this is now a couple years into playing. Took lessons again, this time from a guy that Ron Shank at Beams Music, who taught me a lot. That's foundational to what I still do.
Right.
Like he's the guy that showed me modes and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know why, and this is why as a teacher, like I introduced that stuff super early. I wasn't taught that.
I wasn't taught much theory
from the first guy at
like
all.
Piano lessons.
And I was like, for me, when I realized how that works, like everything made sense.
Theory is the mechanics, you know what I mean? It's like the math part.
It then made math make more sense even.
It translates. Like, it does translate for me, perfectly. Yeah, definitely.
So like,
if you're familiar with it, and my theory isn't the strongest, but it gives you an architecture to like put your shit in, the creative part into.
Hell yeah. Them building blocks that everything has, and then like when you learn them hacks of like what different styles of music utilize different modes, and then it's like a cheat. Like, well, it's not a cheat.
Now
you did the
most
work.
Of the progressions.
Now
of
you can
those
play
songs.
along with Spanish. Like when we listened to that stuff earlier. Now you can capture that style by simply
where like the general progressions.
So that opened a lot of doors, and then I was like entrenched in blues, and it was cool because my father was so willing to, like, I was getting gigs by the time I was 14, 15.
Really?
And he was driving me to every one of them.
So
I couldn't
awesome.
drive, and
that's so awesome.
Made it an accessible thing, so that by the time when I was driving myself and everything, it became very like normal, and like did that for a number of years. Like I was playing between. Now I don't know what years this was, but at one point during the New Kings of Rhythm, and I was also in like local dub, and I was also playing with like Ja People, and I was also playing with Rob Perna Band.
The fuck up,
I was playing like 6 nights a week for like a multiple amount of years, like in a row. Yeah, and like still not having an oversaturation problem. Yeah, because I'm like obsessed with like. Also not, like, I don't love playing the same song over and over again. So,
you gotta
like,
keep it fresh.
I don't even, like,
especially if you have 400 in the bank.
Right? And sometimes, though, like, other band members, other people I have to work with creatively, like, are frustrated because, like, I don't even, it's been known for a long time, and So it almost gets exploited like as a joke sometimes about how much like I don't like to practice.
Yeah.
In a certain form, because for me, like it's like if we're practicing something and it's like 3 times, 4 times now I'm playing the same song, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm like done with the song now.
I get it. And move on. Yeah.
So
for some
I don't
people,
mind. Like
they
I'll
need
do it
that.
like when I practice. Like I'll do a song, and then even if there was some mistakes with it, like I'm gonna still go to something else.
You know what you did.
Go to something else, and I'll go back.
Yeah.
In my thing, it's like your brain is your most important practice tool, and the number one thing to unlocking that for anybody is listening.
Yeah.
So we all think it's all this technical bullshit that we have to do as a musician to make ourselves fit in or sound the best. But all you really have to be doing is listening to everything, not just what you're playing. And even sometimes don't listen to what you're playing. First, take a minute to listen to, and this doesn't take not a literal minute. Once you get flowing, it takes a couple seconds.
Sure.
You listen to everything that's happening in the pocket, and you find that niche where you can exploit something, and you're adding to what's happening, and you're also like standing out. Like there's so many beautiful things that come from the ear.
Yeah.
You know?
And give it space.
It's almost like if you were listening enough, none of the theory shit really matters, because every key of music has at least 7 notes, right, that are in that key out of 12 that exist. So there's always more right notes than wrong notes.
Yeah, that's true.
So anybody can pick up an instrument, and if you're listening close enough, you can hit a cycle of notes, and you're gonna know which ones work and which ones don't.
Right. Just you gotta
We're
that
fucking playing ourselves and tricking ourselves sometimes by like thinking it's deeper than that. But
right. If you're playing that sandbox enough, you know, you'll find
every grain of sand. You pick it up, and make it wet if you need to. You know, make it stick.
Do what you do, but make sure it's unique. You know what I mean? That's the thing. So like, who are your guys? Like, who were like when you got back into the guitar? Who were like who were your like influences?
So so then there was the obvious like foundational stuff, like the Jimi Hendrixes and like the Stevie Ray Vaughns.
Yeah, I can hear Stevie.
When you're a young white blues guitar player, and that's also what so many people try to young bull you into doing.
Yeah.
Like I could have signed a record deal when I was 16 with a label that was talking to me, and they wanted me to do a power trio. They wanted me to fire the New Kings of Rhythm, which I already had at that point. So the New Kings of Rhythm is now going to be like 30 years old.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah.
That's
which
insane.
is an accomplishment. And that's Joe on drums has been the whole time.
Yeah.
Andy on sax pretty much the whole time. John Paul on trumpet pretty much the whole time.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. So we're at like 27 or 8 years now. So it's getting, amazing. But, you know... Yeah, which is wild in itself. So the staying power is for me like what makes it like.
You should be proud of that.
It's
dude.
like a legacy, man. I love it.
Yeah.
I don't even care. Like I've been a New King of Rhythm before the New Kings of Rhythm, and I would be after it. I'll be dead. I'm dying a New King of Rhythm.
Yeah.
So like for me, it's awesome that the band has had them bonds that has made it stick and be something. It's flexible, you know.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody at anybody's ass and throat in that band.
It's
like I'm so beyond yelling at anybody on stage or off stage. You know what I mean, about musical things.
It's
like
about having fun.
Yeah, we're a family, dude. And like when we hit the stage, dude, it's like
there's no reason for bullshit. Yeah. At this point,
I don't even remember how we were going there, but how I got there.
Like your influences.
Influences. So
guitar,
the obvious ones, but then there's a couple really crucial for me that they're the genesis, for instance, of the thought process behind the New Kings of Rhythm. Is directly related from my discovery of Ike Turner.
Okay.
And when I started hearing, and I was introduced to Ike Turner through the movie about Tina Turner, where he is not painted in a nice, a good light, and rightfully so. He's not a great man.
He's a piece of shit.
Shit partner, you know what I mean? But like, that dude was a band leader and an arranger and an A&R person and an innovator and a writer and like launched so many different people's careers. And like also fucking rips the guitar. Like, if people don't know, like, you listen to some of those early records, he strangles the Strat in a way where it's like sounds like a whammy bar even though it's not.
He's just bending the neck.
He's like, yes, and like, and also his voice, and also a piano player that rips, and like then became a multi-instrumentalist producer in his own right and all that. So that's one person that, and his band was the Kings of Rhythm.
Yeah.
So I named the new Kings of Rhythm after Ike Turner's Kings of Rhythm. They're from the 50s, you know, like, but it's like, I was like, that's the mission I was on when I started that band. And it was like a review. It was like, it's here to let everybody within it grow, and there might be a moving cast and it might be this, but like the general thing is like a presentation.
And you didn't have to hit anybody.
No, never once.
That's always a
I don't
plus.
think ever once.
You can catch a domestic on
no
that.
band-related violence ever, I think. I mean, non-band-related violence, but with the band.
It's been
with other people, we've had some gang wars, which has been interesting.
Like an Anchorman when all the news teams
we had
fight.
a literal street fight in Westchester after leaving a gig at what is now the Social Lounge, but what at the time was Doc McGrogan's.
I was trying to remember what the fuck the name of that place was.
I had just gotten paid, and I was coming outside, and we were 10 pieces thick, I think, at the time.
Wu-Tang deep.
Yeah, and my buddy Jeff Lazowski was in the band at the time on percussion, timbales, and we were leaving the gig, and I was coming out front with the money to pay everybody, and I hear a commotion, and I look down, and he's halfway down the block, pulled into the like alley with his truck, his four ways on to load his truck, and I see there's like 5 college kids. We were about that same age probably at the time, honestly, maybe a little older, but like all like crowded around him while he's like, and he has no arms, he's holding gear, and they're like, one guy's in his face, and I don't know what started the argument. But still to this day, but you could see that there was a fight getting ready to happen, because as he's arguing with the one guy, there was another guy circling around in the back. You could see like the swarm mentality going on. Now I'm up here in my head, I'm on the step, and I'm looking down at the alley, and I know already.
He's by himself?
Yeah.
And all these...
Yeah. And we were all down half a block away loading up and whatnot, and like they
like Walking Dead,
had no idea that like that there was others. You know?
Yeah.
And like I'll never forget it, because it was really like a comic book. Like I look down and I see Jeff, and I watched the one guy swing on Jeff, and I took the handful of money and I threw it and my hat to Andy. I had a new stingy brim on. It was like a green velour hat, and I was like, yo, I'm not dusting up my hat.
We were keeping
I threw it to Andy, and he's like, ooh. And I picked a guy. And I like
my guy.
ran with my hand like behind me, and just like full sended like the follow through like kung fu punch, and knocked this dude off his feet. Jesus. And then next thing I know, Big Dave is picking another guy up by his ass and neck, and throws him out like so far out of the melee, he never showed back up.
All the Avengers
until the end of the story. Dude. And like next thing, like I don't know how many of us were involved. But like very quickly, like it got like and then the cops spun in on their little 10 speeds, and then they parked up on either side of the block, blocked off the street, and put us all against the wall. And by then, all of the dudes from the other crew like had ran off. One of them stayed back, and he was like, "Were you the guy that picked me up to Dave?" and threw me out there, and he's like, "Yeah, motherfucker," and he's like, "Thank you." Like
what?
And then like the cops, like meanwhile I'm like the police, dude. I had an eighth of weed in my pocket. I threw it in the gutter, like on Gay Street.
Took an L on that.
And we lined up, and they're talking to us, and they're asking us what happened, and I explained it, and then they ended up arresting the other guy, and they found 2 of the other guys running away. They arrested them and let us go. I'm like, bro, I'm from here. I'm working here. Like we didn't do nothing. These dudes attacked him.
What happened to the homie? Did he get hit, like when they? How long? Like, did he get beat by them? Like,
no, he. Well, Jeff also. That's the thing. Jeff is a hothead, and like there was and there was times when like like he's ready to go too. Like he already had been in the Marines and stuff, so like they weren't even going to get off easy just messing with him alone. But it was like I never seen like the group like come together in like that kind of way. It was interesting.
We've never had
to
talking.
Yeah,
it was just like
it was just
this is what we're doing.
Yeah, and then like it was funny. So then the cops let us go and they arrested them. And then like I went back in Doc McGrogan's and borrowed a coat hanger and fished my bag of weed out of the sewer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you won.
Yeah.
You Voltroned on the other. Who were they? Did you say it was another band?
No, it wasn't a band.
It was just some,
they should be though.
Yeah.
They should have started a band.
Band of thieves.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, that's
just, I guess
up.
They were just some like frat boys
like
that wanted to
age?
tussle. Yeah, they were like.
Yeah, dude.
And that's always funny too because it's like sometimes, man, you need the older gentleman to smack you down.
You really
You're acting like
do.
an asshole in my town.
Yeah, you really do.
I'm
man.
not a marshal or whatever,
No,
but like
dude.
you really like picked on the wrong people. I don't know.
I lived in Westchester for like on Magnolia Street.
Oh, okay.
Down from Burger King.
Yeah.
And I was college age, but I wasn't in college.
Right.
But there's like douchebag. I would walk to the bars because why wouldn't I?
Yeah, right.
But walking home was always some shit
sure
on
an
a Friday.
adventure.
Like, people just start shit out of nowhere. It's fucking incredible. So
That's wild.
it's not the place to live.
No.
It's the place to go.
Well,
Certain parts are nice.
well,
it
it's
depends
interesting.
where you are.
Living in the
where you're
borough
at.
now.
Yeah, you're in a good spot.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it could be whatever. I think if I was younger,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had a successful life living in the borough.
I didn't. That is that's
I'd be way more trash.
Downfall.
Like I don't know. Like, well, let's put it this way: when I was like first newly single and living like in Westchester, like it's just I was drinking all night. You know, there was nothing else to do.
Sure,
like,
that's what all I did. That's all I did.
You know.
I lived with 3 girls, and that was an interesting experience. But all we did was drink.
Yeah.
So that's what Westchester's for. No. There's like really nice places.
Well, it's definitely cool
it's a college town
now like I like when like you see there is I feel like there's a trend, and I don't know if it's also maybe it's also pandemic related. I see a lot of younger heads acting a little more responsible out than
Well,
like
that's good.
It doesn't
I don't
seem like
fuck with
Westchester's
going out
as
anymore.
buck wild. Like
I avoid it.
I'm now used to seeing like an
not bad.
amalgamation of like the younger, which you would think are gonna be there for a bunch of fuckery, but also be acting
the
real
ones you keep your eye on.
You know, so it's cool.
That's good. That's better.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Used to call it like there's always the dude with the pink polo with the back in the early
Where do they come
2000s.
from?
Yeah. Frats. That was the sperm of frats.
Yep.
They live.
It's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
The frat vibe.
I could never, dude. I went to Millersville for like 2 semesters, and they like had a class with this dude. There was like one frat on campus, and he asked me to like come to the things, and I never did. I was like, I'm not like. I just can't fall in line with a crowd.
I'm not gonna
I don't want to
do any weird shit to hang out with you, and like I don't need the security, bro.
Yeah. And there's some questionable shit that they do,
right?
To like join. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not like a slave. Like, to be your friend. Like,
Nikki and I were watching the new season of Queer Eye is in New Orleans, and the first episode was them at like a frat house, and these bulls they were talking to, the guy's like, I came here to learn how to be a man, and like blah blah blah. I'm like, you joined a frat because you thought that was going to help you become a man?
Yeah,
like
man.
I'm like,
I question your judgment.
Yeah, I mean, like, you might have like a year out living will make you a man quicker than hanging out with that crowd.
Dude, that is not learning.
It's funny though.
This is the opposite of learning. You gotta be.
They were living trife. It looked sad.
Shouts to all my frat listeners.
Yeah. Frat boys.
Sorry.
No, I have played at a lot of really cool frat parties.
Sure. I went up, when college days, I had friends up at Penn State.
Yeah.
They have like,
well, there's
like legit, like
there's like
old,
frats, and then there's like
frats with,
mansions that are frat. Like I
That's
played
what I'm talking about.
This one in Lehigh Valley. What's that college up there near like Easton? There's a bunch. Lafayette, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
And like we played somewhere up there, and they like it was all school wasn't in session, but they were still operating the frat house, and they're like, y'all can come here and crash, and like we'll do dinner, and like they were like, you can cook whatever you want here, and like I let me into the kitchen. It was like industrial grade, like chef's kitchen.
Yeah,
I'm like
jail kitchen.
Oh, bro, like we threw down. We had like a feast at that joint.
That's awesome.
It was wild.
Yeah.
And it was well maintained. That was a clean frat house.
It could go either way.
They were gentlemen.
Yeah. He's a gentleman.
I mean, I guess back in the day, they were all like the pose with the tobacco pipe. Sophisticated.
Like, I guess, when my dad was an ATO in, I don't know. Shit. He's born 1947, so college would be whatever.
In the 60s,
yeah, exactly. So
what
he went
time to be alive.
Yeah, I know. He saw a lot of shit in his day.
Yeah.
He didn't go to Vietnam. Like the draft ended like right before his card was coming up.
Right. Wow.
So
that's lucky.
I may not be. I wouldn't be here probably.
Yeah. What a weird time that was. Yeah.
Crazy.
And then it's wild. Like even people I know that like lived through all that still were like so affected and like shocked by the COVID situation.
All the shit they've seen.
I ain't never seen nothing like this.
No,
like
unprecedented. It changed the world, man.
The guy Lou, who's in our band, Lou Brotman, he plays guitar in New Kings. He's a new member.
Okay.
I've played in him with bands for several years growing up and whatnot.
Circles.
But like when I got out of prison, he basically pledged like he wanted to be in the New Kings and like make that happen. And and we have a lot of collaboration and same kind of thoughts musically and just like an ESP sometimes. Yeah. So it made sense.
That's great to work with.
So
I'm sorry, like when I used to fuck with y'all. Was there a second guitarist?
Yeah, Dan Tatarovich played with us for a while, up until I got incarcerated.
Okay.
But he wasn't really wanting to be a part of the picture
at the same
afterwards.
Just happened to coincide.
Yeah. But I've still gone and messed with, he does like work at Studio 4, like production-wise.
Like engineering?
Yeah. So I've gone and done some work with him since. But like Lou, he's, how old is Lou? Lou's in his 70s. I don't remember his exact age.
Yeah.
Offhand.
Good for him.
Maybe he doesn't want me to put his exact age out there. But anyway, he's a lifelong musician. He's been doing this thing for a long time.
That's awesome.
And even he was just like, wow, like, I have never seen anything like this.
That's
that
awesome.
Just shook the music scene. Like, just took everything off the plate for a minute.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was wild. But yeah, we're having a good time.
Yeah.
All the projects are pretty fruitful. The scene seems to be good.
I want to talk to you about like how was like. Are you still running a room like a open mic?
Oh yeah, we're still. So every Wednesday the open mic at the Moose is run by me, and like, well now it's this point. Like if I don't for whatever reason, like I'm usually there, but like every once in a while I can't make it on Wednesday night, and it'll run itself. There's a good crew of people that. Everybody gets a chance to play. So many people, like, this is the first time for me that, like, I never played drums, but now I'm pretty comfortable playing drums because I've been just doing it at the jams. And a lot of people that come to them jams are just, like, spreading out, playing different shit, learning new instruments. Some people that have never sang, for instance, are now singing. I see a lot of that. It's been good. It's the similar like open vibe as the open jams I used to host at Spence and all that.
Yeah, and you used to have a mic at Victory. For
that was a cool
one too.
To
be there, like a lot of.
That was a fun time there.
I don't know why I never went up. I haven't performed live music in a long time.
But, well,
it's never too late.
Never ever.
I'll just come out.
But the main thing with any of that too is like, because I know some people like beat themselves up and like that they're not getting out and doing it enough. But like, as long as it's like, as long as you're not feeling like you're betraying yourself by like not doing that, or like as long as you're having fun with music in some regard, like that's true. Do what I do because it is fun. There's really not any of the rewards that come along with it. Honestly, like the money like never totally equals the work put into it. You know what I mean? But like it's gonna be what I would be doing anyway. Like so that's just me. Like the stage is such a part of that. I would, even if I had to give up all the other aspects of making music, I'd still pick playing gigs. And especially still, I'm still very much like stuck in. That's in the format has changed as far as like every gig used to be 3 1-hour sets spread over 4 hours. Now rarely is it like that anymore. That's we still do that. That's part of why we do the New Kings thing when we do it at the Moose, because we do that 3 1-hour sets. but most things have shortened.
Yeah.
Money has gotten a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's
cool.
changed a little bit better that way.
Yeah.
Time's a little shorter, conversation's a little more. But like, there's also a part of me that I'm like, well, I would still go play another gig right now.
Yeah, you can run. Yeah,
like,
you can make some more.
Like
money.
if you were in New Orleans, or like New York City, you could go here, then go here, and then go there.
Yeah, there's certain like Boston. I mean, Boston like comedy scenes like New York, Boston.
I would imagine with comedy too. Your sets are probably like you could jump.
They're like in certain times of the past 30 years or so, Boston and New York. And New York's still like this, but you can do multiple sets in multiple clubs. Yeah. Like Boston, there's this documentary called When Stand Up Stood Out. It's really good, but it's specifically about the Boston scene.
I'll have to check that out because I've heard about the Boston comedy scene. It seems to have been a thing.
But like the big places were all within like a few blocks,
right?
So you could do like 5 sets a night, or you could do 2 sets at one place. You know, so
I like that.
Run back and forth, and you're just practicing your craft. You know,
yeah.
And I don't know. That's like, it's good to hear that music is like original music is still being incubated around
being
here,
cultivated and
like,
incubated, and we're
like
doing
you said, the
whatever
cover
we
bands.
can with that, and trying to like in relation, for instance, to the Look Around Festival. Like we have another series of events leading up to that we're like all reinforcing. Like the whole thing is costume themed, so each thing has a different theme going on. Like we're doing a Halloween in June on June 10th.
Nice.
At Artillery Brewing in Westchester.
Okay.
Where it's encouraged. It's gonna be like spooky dress.
Yeah.
And like, you know, when we did it, we did an actual Halloween gig there and we made a haunted house, but this year it's gonna be more like a chill spot with like a photo op kind of.
That'd be fun.
We had actual like cast last time.
That's awesome.
We've been trying to just every event, even small gigs, we're trying to like add a dimension visually and involve other artists we know.
Yeah.
Anything Productions has been doing like light projections.
It makes such a difference.
It does, man. People don't always hear just the music.
No.
If they see something and feel a vibe, don't remember it longer.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Synthetic. Aesthetics.
Aesthetics. Synthetics.
Synthetic. So, you said you were recording, when's that project? That's with Onyx and Honey.
Yeah, that's with Onyx and Honey, and we're like 6 tracks deep. We're going to do like 10.
Oh, so you're still, okay.
Yeah, we're involved in it in the midst. We got like 6 tracks to one certain point, and we're going to drop another 4 here soon.
Yeah.
And then mix that and do whatever. We're not putting a timeline on that per se. But then, like, the other 2 things, like, shortly after doing that, I would like to still be in the studio, and I might do a straight-up solo effort as far as, like, this might be the time.
Do it.
You were asking about influences.
Yeah.
But, yeah, another one of mine is, and they always end up being these multi-instrumentalists. People like Junie Morrison is another off-the-cuff, and he's part of the Parliament crew. So anything Parliament, I'm a huge nut for. That kind of steered my whole trajectory. But anyway, he's one of them dudes that like go in and do an album where he plays drums, bass, guitar, keyboards. And like I feel like I could do that. And I have certain songs that I wrote that I think fit that format better than bands I'm in. Yeah. So I'd like to do that next.
Yeah, you definitely do that.
That'd be fun.
That'd be sick. Yeah.
I wish, like, that's the one thing, like, I'm pretty comfortable recording a whole album at the house, like that first Onyx and Honey album, everything's in-house.
Yeah, I was going to ask where you did that.
But I have I don't have a setup to play drums.
Right.
So everything on there is, I made the drum beats on the computer.
Yep.
So, like, I would like to actually play drums.
Yeah. But it makes, depending on what style you're going for, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. I say do it.
Yeah. I have absolutely no problem with like if like everything's like if it feels natural to be doing it, like I definitely like even if like I don't know who ever listen to it, but I'll gladly invest like the money I make doing other work into things like that because I don't know. Like, for me, it's like, even if like a great grandson or a granddaughter is like, oh, they're like, oh, did you know your great grandfather played music and recorded some songs, and he has about 400 songs in this folder over here that we still have, and and like, here's the recordings. Like, I think that's the cool stuff.
Yeah,
you know, like,
it's cool.
I'll just imagine that, even if everybody dies and goes up in smoke, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll be dead soon.
Yeah. The bombs might go off, but somebody one day might listen to some of that. I don't know.
Clock's ticking. Yeah, maybe the aliens will find it.
Have you done any recording of comedy stuff, like for posterity? Is it translate well?
I record my sets on my phone.
Yeah,
like, I'll put on the voice memo.
Oh, cool.
Put it in back pocket.
Oh,
my
you just
sets.
got it on you, and boom, shoot.
So I can listen back and rewrite and hone it. And
cool.
Yeah.
How long you been doing the comedy game now? Like,
well, I did it for a while when I was in my mid-20s, and then like I went to jail. And then
where you learned all the material needed for a lifetime.
Exactly. No, there's a deep well there.
Yeah,
but
there is.
My opening joke is all
White Boy Goes to Jail could be a whole, like,
come on,
the whole thing.
It's it's a show. I watch that show. But I got out of jail, and it put me in a funk, just like having to be on house arrest at my parents' house at age 30. Yeah. It was a bummer, and I had to get like a shit job, the first thing I found, you know. So I wasn't happy, but I did meet my wife, so I don't want to change.
Right, there you go. See, there's always a silver lining.
Yeah, just did my bullshit, you know what I mean?
Did
I
you
was
ever
only
hear that?
down for a little bit, you know.
But dude, that stuff makes an impact, man.
Yeah,
it's like a bid like that is enough to, and the house part is whack too. Like,
it completely knocked off my momentum with the comedy. So I didn't, and like I was telling you earlier, I didn't feel funny or like I had anything to say. Yeah. Which, like, I could pick up a guitar and write something, but like for me anyway, I can only speak for myself. Writing comedy, like, you can't do, especially like, I don't know, you can't write comedy on house arrest. Like, you need an audience for
right. Yeah.
So and
that's
then
you just start calling the motherfucker monitor and be like, "Hey, what do you think about this joke?
Have you heard about this, Mom? Have you heard about
the guy with the monitor?"
So I only started back doing it in August.
Awesome.
Open mics, and I'm still just, 5-minute sets are standard.
Where can you go around here, or do you have to travel
There's
far?
Surprisingly, from when I did it in my 20s,
it seems like there's more comedy now.
It's everywhere, man.
That seemed like during the pandemic that popped up a little bit too, where the outdoor comedy events and things.
Yeah, they started doing stuff like that. There's this place called Soul Joel's that has like a dome.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
That is amazing. A friend of mine, my wife's best friend, is a comic. She's actually coming to do the show coming up soon.
Nice.
This weekend. And
very cool.
She did a show there. She opened for a guy named Kurt Metzger. He's actually like, he's really good. Huh. But so there's like, that started during the pandemic because no one was going into the clubs.
Yeah.
And now there's an open mic 8 minutes away from here in Exton at a hotel, and like
I was seeing ads about that pop up.
Yeah. So
you go to that?
Yeah,
I have to check that out.
Once to that one, and then I mean I'll go anyway. Like, there's a place in Wilmington, Delaware, Bar 13.
Oh, okay, we played there.
Then there's a place. I mean, it depends on how much I want to drive.
Yeah,
there's like a brewery, and there's like at least 6 that I can get. Like, I could book a full every night of the week. Like, cool. Usually like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
So,
that's nice.
But like right now, I'm just like, I got to be honest with myself and everybody. Like, like I'm not ready for prime time. Like, I'm still like, I want to do the work.
Right.
I don't want to like, I don't want to put myself like, I don't know, out there until it's what at a pace that I think it should be at. I don't know.
Good.
So
cool.
I've been slacking though. If I'm being honest, I've been slacking because, like I told you, the winter was fucking COVID, and then blah, blah. Yeah, and then once you get out of like not doing it, I just tell myself, I'll delude myself. Don't do it tonight. Spend some time. But like, she's like, "Are you doing comedy this week?" She's so supportive. But I'm like, I'm slacking. But it's so fun too. Like, I can't go to sleep until like 3 a.m. after a 5-minute set at an open mic. At gigs and an open mic. I'm not at MSG. I'm not I'm not at an arena, but I did my thing and like leave it on the field. Like I'm happy after bombing just to like do it. I just like doing it. You know?
Well, it is an outpouring of an energy. That definitely feels good when you release that, but also when like you're not bombing, like and if you're making one person laugh, like you did something, man.
Right,
it's a beautiful thing.
It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it's
so
a
like
cool thing.
I do record my sets and shit, and then I'll go back and I just said like just rewrite stuff, but I do record it.
Who influenced you, like first and foremost? Is there a certain comedian that you think was the one that made you be like, oh, I would like to do that?
I think, well, I grew up like my mom turned me on to like just older stuff like comedy, and I was watching this like old Saturday Night Lives when I was like 6 or 7. She would just put it on, and but as far as like, so I was always, and Monty Python was on a lot in our house, and sorry,
you're good.
But like as far as stand up, I would go to my grandmom's house, and like every Sunday we'd have dinner and stuff, and me and my sister would like go down the basement. We didn't have cable growing up because my mom was like a fucking helicopter parent, like very but we're good now, everything's good, but
all acoustic guitar and no jokes.
Yes, see, there it is, another example. But so we would watch cable in the basement. We got to watch MTV and Comedy Central. So I ate the Comedy Central up. And watched everything I could. But so like as far as like influences, I think like the people, joke writer, like one-liner joke writers, like Mitch Hedberg, Stephen Wright, who's from that scene in Boston I was talking about. There's a British guy named Jimmy Carr, like who does, and I don't do strictly like one line. I open with a one-liner, and then it's about my DUI, and then talk like do a story, like a narrative about what happened or whatever. Nice. It sounds really funny, doesn't it?
I know the comedy in it.
I'm explaining it.
People couldn't believe that I was willing to watch, like on a bus trip we had. I had copies of me getting sobriety tested, the DVD, and like what? I was like watching that.
Wait, video?
Yeah.
Who was taking the video?
The police car.
Huh?
Like so.
Would
like,
they come to the crib?
No, it was like during the
like if you get pulled over, like the dash cam,
like because of the process legally, like we had copies of that.
Oh,
and
you
specifically
like
so my lawyer could point out like that, like in fact I did pass the sobriety test.
Yeah,
because it was like literally written in that I didn't and stuff.
That's insane.
And we sat there in court and watched the whole tape, and like they were literally laughing. The bailiff.
Is that
was
why
like,
you went back? Like to
no, that was like a separate. That was even before, and that was wild because I was always taught like or always heard that like if they mess up or lie or whatever, they get thrown out. Well, it's not the case.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. So, but like it was wild. But like it was like I watched that video in a bus full of people.
Yeah.
And like I was cracking up and like narrating it, and like to me it was very funny. But there was some people that felt like it was not an appropriate.
See, I'm flipping the dumbest thing I
to laugh about.
Yeah, I'm flipping it on its head for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I got to.
Yeah, at the end of the day, fuck what it makes you think, because like I need to process it that way, and honestly. And I hope some people are entertained.
Exactly.
But
if change the channel or don't listen.
Yeah, right. Whatever. It's like I'm still gonna write the fucking song whether you want to hear it or not.
Because I can only write from myself, and and also like if I'm telling my story, then no one it's
right. There's been a couple people throughout my post-prison life that like think like I'm too candid or like too open to talk about it or whatever, and like some people would rather say like, oh, you mean. Oh, what you should tell people you were in college. What does that look like? That's not. I don't need to lie about where I've been.
Why?
I earned it.
Yeah. It's
now
part
let
of
me
your life.
fucking live in it.
Yeah.
And honestly, like
You wrote 400 songs.
Yeah, right.
So, like, there's always a positive.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta like. So I mean, it's
you might
so
not have
funny
met
to me.
Nikki.
There's
You know?
absolutely no shame in like like yeah, I was pretty stupid. I should have just. I definitely developed a case of the fuck it's. I didn't give a fuck.
That's what I'm trying to get myself out of. Right now. It was like I need to stop listening to my bullshit. I can admit that.
Yeah, well, that's a powerful step in its own. Like that'll help open that door. As long as you're aware of that, then you're not lost.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. Yeah, thank you. I
shit.
Needed that.
Yeah,
Give me juice, baby.
Gas them up some.
All right, man. So we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
We got
beautiful.
had
Thank
a
you for
beautiful
having
time.
me.
It felt like 5 minutes, but we
Yeah, it's nice how you can keep going.
Yeah.
Good conversation. Dig it.
I'll have to come back soon.
And we'll have you on our show.
That'd be fun,
nice.
man. It'd be great.
Can't wait for you to meet Nikki.
Yeah, I'm excited.
She's a
So,
force.
if you I trust your judgment 100%.
Right
and I
on.
like the music. I heard it. It's
Cool.
amazing.
Right on.
So what do you got coming up? Anything you want to?
Yeah, I'm gonna run down the calendar. So, like, being as people might hear this tomorrow,
hopefully.
May 19th, we'll see. I'm gonna be at Saloon from 6 to 9, playing bass with Will Snooze out front of the bar. Hopefully, weather permitting.
In Westchester.
Yep,
Yeah.
right out on Gay Street. Love playing on the street.
Yeah, man.
Then the 20th is Porch Fest in Westchester, which I'll be playing at with Onyx and Honey and with Will Snooze. We're going to be, I think it's 426 Dean Street, but if you go on Dean Street, you'll find us.
You'll find it.
It's
You'll hear
going
it.
on all day. It's going to be nice.
Yeah.
Then the 21st, Sunday, there's a beef and beer event at the Moose Lodge, 401 West Washington Street in Westchester, specifically to raise money and benefit the music happenings at the Moose. We're going to buy some new equipment.
Nice.
We're outfitting all the sound there. We want it to be as professional as possible for
man.
every gig.
Cultivate that art.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the Friday after that, May 26th, Onyx and Honey's playing at the Krusty Krab's Shindig at the Cosmic Art Studio in Pottstown. Have you been there yet?
No.
That's a cool venue.
Yeah.
It's like a
I haven't
collective
heard of it.
art space with music.
Dope.
The second floor has a stage and ballroom that probably could accommodate like 300 people alone.
There's 2 stages?
Yeah,
Oh,
downstairs
sick.
has a
There's 2
smaller
rooms.
bar
Wow.
type stage.
Yeah.
It's a cool space.
I'll have to check that out.
And that one's all in like SpongeBob theme.
Yeah, I was gonna
Everybody's
say,
be
yeah.
like dressed as
That's
SpongeBob characters. The 28th, we're playing at Craig Herring's Barbecue, which is open to the public with the new Kings of Rhythm. If you want information on that, hit me up, Rob Perna. If you go on Instagram, it's Funky Star Child 78. My email is rpernagraphic@gmail. You can hit me up. I'll give you details for these things. Yeah. Also, coming up, going into June, figure we'll go into June. You never know who's listening. Mm-hmm. We got Moss on the 2nd, first Friday in June. Oh, yeah. That's also a Will Snooze gig. I'll be on bass. Then I'll be at Turk's Head Music Festival with Will Snooze on Sunday the 4th of June. Then we got Onyx and Honey duo at Duffers.
Oh, yeah, good old Duffers.
Yep, June 9th. And then Onyx and Honey, June 10th is the Halloween in June. That's going to be Onyx and Honey, Dre Clark, and Aquatic Ape Theory at Artillery Brewing.
That sounds fun.
Costume party.
What are you doing? What are you dressed? Or is it a surprise?
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I got to go. I was Tiger King.
Need some inspiration.
On Halloween this year. I had a nice
awesome.
mullet wig.
That's amazing.
Yeah, then we got Sherry Punjab in Media on the 16th of June. Red Lantern on the 24th of June. These are both Onyx and Honey full bands.
Nice.
And then we're at Saloon on the 30th with Onyx and Honey. So that's June.
Bam.
Yeah, that's all
Fuck
we
yeah,
need
man.
for now. You can find me. You can find Onyx and Honey Music all spelled out.
That's all one word,
Yep.
right?
OnyxandHoneyMusic.com is our website. Look Around Festival is the festival website. And you can find the new Kings of Rhythm on Instagram as well as Onyx and Honey and myself, Funky Star Child 78.
Get it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming,
been a pleasure.
man. It's good to see you.
You too, Troy. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, man.
Beautiful.
Good times.
Awesome.